Hi everyone, this is Daryl and welcome back to Hypeword. Today I'm going to be reviewing Adrian Tchaikovsky's hard sci-fi novel, Children of Time. Adrian Tchaikovsky's award-winning novel, Children of Time, sets out a story of humanity's battle for control of a terraformed planet. The last remnants of the human race left a dying Earth, desperate to find a new home among the stars. Following in the footsteps of their ancestors, they discover their greatest treasure of the last age, a world terraformed and prepared for human life. But all is not right with this new Eden. In the long years since the planet was abandoned, the work of its architects has borne unintended results. The planet is not waiting for them, pristine and unoccupied. New masters have turned it from what should have been a refuge into mankind's worst nightmare. Now two civilizations are on a collision course, both testing the boundaries of what they will do to survive. As the fate of humanity hangs in the balance, who are the true heirs of this new Earth? So Children of Time is packed full of concepts. Some of these we've seen elsewhere, such as terraforming new planets, travelling across the stars in life ships with a tank full of humans in stasis ready to repopulate a new planet. These added to the overall story, but didn't really bring anything new to the table in terms of concepts in themselves. Where Children of Time really shines is in Tchaikovsky's creation of the race of alien spiders that inhabit the terraformed world known as Kern's world. These species of spider have evolved in unexpected ways after being infected with a nanovirus. We follow these spiders over thousands of years through their descendants. What's interesting is how, because of the nanovirus, memories are genetically transferred, so that throughout the book it feels like you're reading about the same spider character, when in fact you're actually reading about their descendants. Side note, the fact that Tchaikovsky got me to care about a spider character to begin with is a feat in itself. He does this in a way that makes them relatable, not to human beings per se, but to any creature that lives, is sentient and values their life. Tchaikovsky builds the arachnids from basic creatures of instinct to a point where they are using technology in strange and interesting ways. The amount of thought that Tchaikovsky put into the technology used by the arachnids is layered to the point of obsessive. And that's a positive, in case you were wondering. The technology felt authentically alien and refreshingly original and had me gripped throughout these descriptions. Avrana Kern is the first main character who turns out to be pretty much the main antagonist for the human characters. Kern is a human from the old empire who has survived in a satellite for thousands of years. Due to this, she has lost her sanity and struggles to separate her own thoughts from those of the artificial intelligence named Eliza. Even before her long imprisonment, Kern had what might be labelled as a god complex that only increases when she realises that her experiment on Kern's world is a relative success, only in a way she didn't expect. What I really enjoyed, however, was Kern's character arc and her transition from the megalomaniac human to a megalomaniac consciousness housed in the satellite. If you watch my videos often, you'll probably already know that I'm a fan of complicated characters that tread a thin moral line. Kern hits this on the head, so obviously I wanted more from Kern. Perhaps this character will be explored more in Tchaikovsky's follow-up, Children of Ruin. Halston Mason could be labelled as the human protagonist in the story, in that we follow his character's point of view as the humans make their way to Kern's world, and then through the distance of time as he's pulled in and out of stasis. Mason is a classicist. This means he studies the now long dead works of the Old Empire, the human civilization of which Kern was a member. Mason is part of the key crew of the sleeper ship Gilgamesh, meaning he isn't one of the thousands of colonists frozen in storage, but is one of the ship's actual crew, although this changes as the story goes on. He is woken from cryosleep several times throughout the story, with centuries between instances, usually to help out in various crises. As far as this character goes, he's pretty blah. He's like the protagonist equivalent of Coldplay. Sorry, Coldplay fans. He's okay, and he might have been interesting at one point, but now he's just kind of forgettable, although you're happy to tap your foot along to him if he happens to be around. He's more of the vehicle through which the story is told, rather than having any interesting qualities in himself. The most interesting part of Mason I found to be his relationship with the character Lane. Issa Lane is an engineer aboard the Gilgamesh and is also part of the Key Crew. She finds herself butting heads with authorities throughout the story, and I found her to be much more engaging as a person, so much so that I think the book might have benefited from switching the protagonist to Lane and have Halston just sort of there in the background making drinks for people or something. I won't go into her story too much for spoiler reasons, but I really liked her story arc and her growth as a character. If you watch my videos often, again you'll probably know that I am a big fan of strong female characters, and Lane hits this one on the head. The book is complex without being incomprehensible. You don't need to be a scientist to understand what's happening, and I've found the writing does what all writing should. It tackles complex ideas and themes in a way that is digestible and entertaining. I found parts of how Tchaikovsky approached writing Children of Time to be reminiscent of some classic science fiction novels, in the same way that Arthur C. Clarke hung a lot of his stories on the technology and arguably did nothing in the way of characterization. In a way, this follows in that path. Although this is the first Tchaikovsky novel I've read, it's clear he's adept at writing and storytelling and uses language in an efficient way that keeps the pace and doesn't leave you with a heavy, overwritten feeling in your stomach. Children of Time is a well-written, thought-provoking piece of hard sci-fi that does what all good sci-fi should do. It poses a question and then artfully scares you by answering it. So with that in mind, I would thoroughly recommend Children of Time to any sci-fi fan and have given it 4 stars out of 5. Mostly for the concepts around the arachnid technology. I will be definitely picking up the book's sequel, Children of Ruin, sometime in the future. So that's it for this review. Please like, comment and subscribe in all the usual ways. If you're new here, we talk about sci-fi, fantasy and sometimes horror books. So if that's your thing, please stick around. Until next time guys, happy reading.